And now, a message from the office of the President-elect, Molotov Mitchell.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to our brothers and sisters in the Jewish realm. This is Molotov Mitchell, your good friend and President-elect. I'm here today to talk about something not very Christmassy, but very important because it's happening now, and that's executions. Unless you've been hiding in a basement with Joe Biden, you'd know that there's a lot of chatter and a lot of Twitter about two different men that have been executed in the past few days. I'm not here today to talk about whether capital punishment is a good thing or a bad thing for America. I'm here today to tell you about these specific cases because the BLMers are out there saying that because these two men are of color, that they are being targeted, and I'm here to shut that down by giving you the facts of what happened in those cases. First up is Brandon Bernard. Now, the reason why I'm saying his name is not because BLM is telling everybody else to say his name. No. I'm not saying it because Bernie Sanders is saying it when he says that he could have been alive today if only blah, blah, blah. No, I'm just saying his name so you know who he was, because a lot of people are out there saying he shouldn't have been executed without knowing why he was going to be executed in the first place. Trust me, you want to know the crime before you weigh in. Texas, 1999. Brandon Bernard and some other friends, namely a guy named Chris Villalva, who's also been executed, approached the Bagley couple, Todd and Stacy, who were youth ministers, and they asked them if they could catch a ride to their uncle's house. That was the story. Well, being such loving, selfless youth ministers, they said, sure, we'd love to help you out, and so they gave them a ride. Once they were in the vehicle together, a gun was produced by Chris Villalva, and they were forced off the road, where they took the Bagleys at gunpoint and stuffed them into the trunk of their own vehicle. They then took their ATM card and made a paltry withdrawal of $100 because they were broke youth ministers. And then they drove to a remote location. Chris got out, popped the trunk, shot both of them in the head. Then Brandon set them on fire. From the autopsy report, we learned that Stacy had not died from her gunshot. She died from the fire. One of the most shocking things to me is reading in the testimony of witnesses that the Bagleys were actually preaching the gospel to the men that were going to kill them. They were literally pleading for their souls instead of their own lives. But Brandon Bernard didn't want to hear about that. He didn't want to hear about Jesus. He just wanted to make some cash and, burn some people up. Alfred Bourgeois is the latest BLM hero to be sacrificed at the altar of white supremacy or whatever. If you don't know why he got there, that is. This is another name you should never say. I only say it so you know who he is. See, Alfred was furious that he had to pay child support for a 2-year-old daughter that he had as an affair. Well, Alfred finally used our excellent judicial system to get custody of that 2-year-old girl for 7 weeks, the final 7 weeks of her life. Alfred Bourgeois beat, tortured, raped, and ultimately bludgeoned his 2-year-old daughter to death. He beat her to death against the windshield and the dashboard of his truck.
Just where he was needed, gleaming in black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merchant change, but your face remains.
Why would anybody respect these people or call them heroes or even victims? There are evil people out there who are fighting for evil people. It's just what the devil does. There's also a political way of looking at this, and that is that it's socialists and communists that are defending these people. Christianity teaches us that there's salvation through him and damnation without him. Communists hate that because they don't even believe there's a God. A lot of the people who say that they're Christians on the left, they don't believe there's God either. They think that we're just lucky mud. We just evolved out of the swamp, and we have all these fairy tales to help give us guidance and morals, but really, God's dead. Then there are those of us Americans, like myself, who firmly believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God and part of the Trinity, and that he died for my sins. Now, real quick, I just want to show you a video example of what I think most Democrats and some Republicans actually think about Christianity, and that is that Jesus was a very wise teacher, but he wasn't God, he wasn't perfect, any of that, which, of course, invalidates the entire religion of Christianity because Jesus had to be perfect in order to be a perfect sacrifice for our sins, etc., etc. And, of course, coming back from the dead, that's a godlike power. So I want you to see what he says here. And also I want you to notice that he works very hard to force this sentence about Jesus not being perfect into a conversation that has nothing to do with it. This is padding. This is PR work. You find sometimes when people are talking about a subject in the news or whatever, they will work in an angle about some product, or they'll drop the name of a group or something like that because they get paid $100,000 to work it into a conversation on CNN or something like that. So he forces this line in there that Jesus was not perfect, and it's awkward, super awkward. I don't know if he was paid to do this or if he's just paying homage to the devil. I don't know what he was doing here, but let's take a look.
About it. And that's actually the right feeling to have, and you should be engaged in a discussion. But here's the thing. Jesus Christ, if that's who you believe in, Jesus Christ, admittedly was not perfect when he was here on this earth. So why are we deifying the founders of this country?
It's Christmas time, so let's talk about this Jesus for a second. When we look at somebody like Bernard, who literally meets the biblical description of the devil, it says that he came to steal, kill, and destroy, just what Bernard did. We have to remember that even though justice has to be served on earth and there are consequences, you can strike out, it doesn't mean that you can't be forgiven. While you can strike out on earth because of Jesus Christ and his sacrifice, you don't have to strike out forever. Watch out this holiday season and don't believe the lies that you hear from the left. The great Ronaldus Magnus once told us in the exquisite 80s, trust but verify. Beautiful words for a beautiful time, but today, not so much. Trust but verify when it comes to a conservative. When it comes to CNN and BLM and Bernie Sanders, no. We're talking about the left. The slogan should probably be, don't believe any of it. Then do some research that you can send to people so that they know not to believe it as well. Merry Christmas and God bless America. Because, we might secede. You never know. And, this might be the last year to say that. God bless America.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done